before our honeymoon to the Amalfi Coast. My husband Julian canceled our flight behind my back. He swapped them for tickets to Ibiza with his childhood best friend, Poppy. Even his pack of party boy friends thought he'd gone too far and tried to talk him down.
The fuck? Julian, this is messed up. Claire's been looking forward to it forever.
Julian didn't care. He brushed them off without a second thought.
It's Poppy's birthday wish. One more single girl trip with her before I'm locked down for good. Claire always blows everything out of proportion. This'll be good for her. Remind her she's not the center of the universe.
The Poppy he was talking about was his weepy childhood playmate, and I was Claire, the wife he couldn't even bother to say my wife about. I didn't fight. I didn't argue. I pretended I had no idea, quietly canceled the honeymoon, and bought a one-way ticket to another country on the other side of the ocean. My phone was lagging. The cancellation screen kept spinning. Meanwhile, on Poppy's pink tablet, an iMessage group chat called Astor's Royal Guard wouldn't stop lighting up. I tapped it open. Poppy's avatar filled the screen.
What the hell is wrong with you assholes? Every single one of you is taking Claire's side. Like she's your bro, not me. Fine. You're right. It's all my fault. I'm just a bitch. I shouldn't have a birthday. I definitely shouldn't have wished for Julian to come with me. I should be like the rest of you, kissing Queen Claire's ass. You're her real friends. I don't matter at all. Happy now.
Julian, who'd been ghosting me for 2 days claiming he was in meetings, replied in seconds. He at the other 6 guys and sent one thing. A single? Question mark.
Sorry. It's just one bachelorette trip. Queen Poppy says jump. We don't just send Julian.
All 6 of us drop everything and show up as bodyguards.
Screw you. Claire's the one you actually answered to.
Claire, please. So they had a wedding. Big deal. Julian still got that paperwork locked in his safe. She's a wife in name only. Legally, none of it counts. Last laugh's still up for grabs.
I blinked, staring at the group chat that was so much livelier without me in it. If Poppy hadn't left her tablet in Julian's car, I wouldn't have even earned a peek at all this fun. And there I'd been, naively reading travel guides, hoping the honeymoon would make for great photos. I stared at the empty itinerary for a long time. Then I went back to the home screen, typed in a new destination, and made a call. Mum, I'll go to London with you. On the other end, my mother caught it immediately. Something was wrong. Back then, she'd turned down a once-in-a-lifetime job offer for my sake.
Mom, I know you have questions, but right now I don't have the energy to explain everything that just happened.
I've made up my mind. Once I wrap up work and get my visa sorted, I'll fly out. Then I'll tell you everything.
Mom went quiet for a few seconds. In the end, she didn't push. I hung up and collapsed onto the couch, trying to steady myself. Julian's friends had a point. We'd signed a prenup, we'd had a wedding, but he'd deliberately locked the marriage license, the one we still had to file with City Hall, in his safe, until it was legally binding. I was just a wife who could be swapped out at any moment, which, right now, meant I didn't have to wait for him to come home. No divorce proceedings, no drawn-out fights over assets. I pushed the wave of feeling back down and forced myself up to start packing. In the closet, the his and hers vacation outfits, freshly pressed, seemed to grin at me. I'd designed them myself, for the honeymoon, for Julian. I'd pulled all-nighters, revising them over and over. The final pieces had just come in today. Half an hour ago, I'd still been waiting for Julian to come home and try them on. Now, I just wanted to throw every single one of them in the trash. By the time I'd packed and dragged my suitcase to the door, it was the middle of the night.
Julian, say it. Come on, you're my royal stallion.
Giddy up, yeah.
Through my stinging, blurred vision, I saw Julian, who hadn't been home in 3 days, giving Poppy a piggyback ride. Her face was flushed red. One hand had his ear in a death grip. The other was patting his head, demanding he neigh.
Poppy's drunk.
I didn't know why he was bothering to explain. When he'd moved in with me, and Poppy bought the apartment directly above ours the very next day, he hadn't explained. When Poppy had giggled in our doorway, hanging off Julian and purring, "Sweetie, I'll always be on top of you," he hadn't explained then either. All he ever said was,
Claire, you know what we are to each other.
They were childhood sweethearts, after all. 2 old money families joined at the hip. Everyone had watched them grow up. For years, they'd been the golden couple in every photo, until Julian launched a 3-year campaign chasing me in college. To him, That was proof enough that there was nothing between him and Poppy. Once I tore myself apart over it. I obsessed. I picked fights, but now, whatever they did had nothing to do with me anymore. I looked away. All I said was,
Yeah, of course.
Then I started to wheel my suitcase past him. It was the answer he should have wanted. He didn't take it well.
Say that again.
I said, we're done, Julian. I'm breaking up with you.
You're really not done throwing this tantrum, are you? And by the way, Claire, we had our wedding last week. If you're throwing a fit, the word's divorce, not breakup.
Breakup. Divorce. To Julian, they were the same kind of joke. He looked at me lazily, the way you humor a child who's being unreasonable. I didn't bother arguing. The corner of my mouth twitched.
Call it whatever you want.
But I couldn't leave. The standoff lasted only a few seconds.
Enough! I can't deal with you two anymore!
Julian instinctively reached down to help her up. She shoved him away.
Don't touch me! I'm done! I'm done! The second she sees me, it's I want to break up, I'm leaving. Am I some kind of prop? Am I garbage? Why is she so disgusted by me? Julian, let's cut each other off. I am sick of walking on eggshells around her. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have ever shown up in your lives. I shouldn't have grown up with you.
Right on cue, she launched into dramatic dry heaving, faking that she couldn't breathe, tearing through her Hermes bag for something.
My pills! Where's my Xanax? I'm dying! Maybe I should just die. Anything's better than being treated like this every single time.
The heat at my wrist disappeared. Julian had already pulled her into his arms, stopping her. It took maybe a few seconds. Poppy was gasping wildly against his chest, her eyes red.
Happy now?
It was always like this. The instant I showed even a hint of resistance, Poppy would declare an anxiety attack and start frantically hurting herself. Can't speak to her, can't touch her, can't even walk away. In the early days, Julian had begged me to humor her.
Claire, you've been through it yourself. You know how it is. When she's like this, all you can do is go along with her.
Because lives were on the line, I caved every time. I avoided the storm, but eventually, I figured it out.
Poppy's condition only flared up when Julian wasn't choosing her over me.
That so-called anxiety disorder, it was just possessiveness in costume, forcing him to pick a side. I looked down at the smug little look on Poppy's face. I nodded.
Sure. Very happy. Though, you moved a little too fast. You didn't get to find the pills. Your acting could use some work. Try harder next time.
A flash of shock crossed Poppy's face. She froze, then started gearing up for round 2. His tall frame loomed over me. Suddenly, my whole field of vision went dark. The shoulder that used to shelter me was now carrying another woman. Carrying her while blocking my way out.
Claire, I really have been spoiling you too much. She has every right to make you pay for that. Be grateful, Claire. I'm the one holding her back.
For a moment, the world went vacuum silence. I couldn't hear a thing. Even Poppy froze. Then she snapped out of it, jerked her hand free, and swung it hard at my face. A second before her palm hit me, Julian caught her wrist. Those eyes, the ones that used to watch over me through the night, that used to pull me out of nightmares. Tonight they were cold as ice, a flicker of disgust, a warning.
You really thought you could just walk out on me? If she'd actually hit you, you'd be throwing a fit for days, right? She got hurt and you don't even care? When you're ready to be reasonable, you'll apologize to Poppy yourself.
I stood there, watching the floor numbers climb, my whole body shaking. Cold, so cold, the kind that crept up from the bottom of you, that no coat, no matter how expensive, could keep out. 5 years. 5 whole years. My body could make a clean break. My heart couldn't pull free that fast. I don't know how long it took. Eventually, I flagged down a cab and headed to a hotel near work. Until I left the country, that's where I'd stay. While I waited for my visa, I had to close out the project I'd been leading for almost 2 years. My personal life was already a wreck. My career wasn't going to be. I buried myself in overtime, kept myself slammed, partly to speed things up, partly so I wouldn't have time to think. As long as I was busy, I couldn't dwell on anything else. Maybe it was the toll on my body and nerves. Lately, I'd been constantly tired, constantly nauseous. My boss reminded me to pull it together. The client was coming in this afternoon to finalize the contract. At the head of the table sat someone I knew. Julian in a sharp suit, and beside him, in a cinched-waist backless cocktail dress, sat Poppy. My nails dug into my palms before I could stop them. My boss thought I had nerves and whispered,
"Relax, the proposal and the designs have already been signed off by their project lead. These two are just bored trust fund babies playing at being adults. Smile through it, humor the rich kids, and we're done. Just give them your usual pitch."
I drew a breath. I forced on a smile. I opened the deck and walked them through my design vision, smooth, composed, point by point.
Poppy propped her chin in her hand, nodding along all smiles under the table. My boss flashed me a discreet thumbs up. I exhaled. Reading the room, someone slid the contract across the table.
It's not doing it for me. The design's so boring. It gives me a headache just looking at it.
I don't think I want to sign.
The smile froze on my boss's face. I kept mine polite.
Is there a specific element you're not happy with? Poppy didn't even glance at the contract. She held up her hand, admiring her fresh manicure.
Hard to say. It's more of a feeling.
Then she hooked her arm through Julian's.
What do you think?
Every eye in the room turned to him. Julian's eyes landed on me. On instinct, I looked away.
Sounds like your project lead doesn't have much faith in her own work either. I'm suddenly losing interest in this investment. Pulling out. Oh, and just so you know, I've already authorized my people to begin a hostile takeover of your company. Congratulations, Claire. You'll be working for me very soon.
2 years on this account. 1,000 discarded drafts. I'd lost count of the nights I'd spent at my desk to get here. We were finally about to land. This was supposed to be the showcase project, the perfect closing chapter on this stage of my career. One careless sentence from him, and it was all stillborn. Back at the office, my boss came tearing in, white as a shield, shaking from head to toe. He was practically sobbing.
"Claire, he will destroy the whole firm. Please, just go apologize."
It wasn't that I didn't want to save the project. It was that I knew exactly who Poppy was actually here for. The only way this project survived was if I disappeared.
I just hadn't expected the one thing tying me to this city would get torn apart this fast. The wave of nausea hit again. I stumbled out of the office. Julian,
still here. His hand started wandering somewhere. It had no business going.
I bit down on him with everything I had. The taste of blood bloomed thick between our mouths.
Get out!
Julian stood there, his expression unreadable.
Claire, after all this time, why haven't you learned?
I tried to twist away. The harder I fought, the tighter he held me.
If you just apologized for what happened last time, none of this would be happening today. How hard is it to lower your head just once?
Julian's voice was softer than any sweet nothing he'd ever whispered in my ear, but I was shaking anyway. Not from the cold, from a cramp tearing through my stomach. An eerie, sinking, dragging down feeling. Something was rushing out of me. A ridiculous thought surfaced in my mind. I tried to look down. Julian's grip on my chin held me in place. All I could do was bite my lip and hold on. Something warm slipped down my thigh.
Dripping onto the carpet, Julian noticed.
"Claire, you..."